She can play, she can be a child again. Her parents can dream for her future again. But just 5 months back, Diya's future seemed bleak, distant. Diya's mother Karishma lives that nightmare still, frequently.
जिस बेटी को इतनी उम्मीदों से भगवान से मन्नतें करके मुझे बेटी हो मांगा, उसको कुछ हो जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूँगी, मैं कैसे जीऊँ?
Diya, a 16-month-old child, was born with 2 holes in her heart. She was underweight. Bouts of pneumonia struck often. Doctors had said she would not live beyond a few months. But 2.5 lakh rupees. This was the amount that a private hospital had asked them to deposit for corrective surgery. With a monthly household income of 6,000 rupees, this was as good as out of the question. Joy gave way to despair.
बहुत ब्याज पे पैसा ले लेके दूसरों से मांग के जाते थे हॉस्पिटल हम लोग। बहुत दिक्कत होती सर।
That's when they came across the Sameer Malik Heart Care Foundation Fund, an initiative of the Heart Care Foundation of India, through a local newspaper, and approached them. The fund adopted Diya for the surgical procedure she desperately needed. She was operated on at the Medanta Medicity in Gurgaon. Diya's parents can dream for her future again.
एक तरह से मैं सोचूंगी मेरी बेटी का दूसरा जन्म है और वो डॉक्टर साहब ने मुझे दी है मेरी बेटी दोबारा।
Heart disease kills over 20 lakh people in India every year. Over 1.3 lakh children are born with heart disease every year. At any given time, 10 out of 1,000 school-going children suffer from rheumatic valvular heart disease. This when most heart conditions are curable. Death can certainly be prevented at least, but treatment costs are high, far beyond the reach of most. An example, 60,000 patients a year need a pacemaker fitted to keep them active and alive. Only 15,000 can actually get one.
मेरे साथ में ज्योति है, 16 साल की है, इन्होंने समीर मलिक हार्ट केयर फाउंडेशन फंड को अप्रोच किया है।
Heart Care Foundation of India has strived to bridge this enormous gap through the Sameer Malik Heart Care Foundation Fund. Guided by the essential tenet that every individual, rich or poor, has the fundamental right to life, his own and around whom he builds it. The foundation's success stories abound.
आज के अग्रवाल जी तो हिम्मत दिया जी मुझे, उसने सहारा दिया हर तरह से, उन्होंने मुझे हर तरह से सहारा दिया, तो जीवन बचा दिया मेरे बच्चे का और मेरा भी।
17-year-old Subhash recently set up a stall in Faridabad and he hopes to grow quickly from here. Hope has revived, the darkness has cleared. For his parents, all that matters is life is back on track. A large part of his income, the 6,000 rupees or so a month that roadside barber Ramesh Chandra brought home, went to education of his son Subhash, nurturing the dream the boy should get a better life than he did. But by the time Subhash was 17, that ambition had begun to crumble. The teenager would be out of breath after just a few steps. Movement became difficult. Doctors called it rheumatic valvular heart disease. Ramesh was told that his son needed an aortic valve replacement.
खुद ही सोचता था ऐसे मैं बचने वाला ही नहीं, मेरे पापा से पैसों का इंतजाम हुआ नहीं.
Ramesh turned to the Sameer Malik Heart Care Foundation for help. Funds were cleared. Subhash underwent corrective surgery at the National Heart Institute. The Sameer Malik Heart Care Foundation Fund was instituted in April 2014 to bridge the glaring disparities and help provide the economically weaker sections a life of health, self-respect and freedom from disease. Its founder, Padma Shri Dr. B.C. Roy National Awardee National Science Communication awardee Dr. K.K. Aggarwal has gained the love and respect of the public as a philanthropist, a friend and caregiver. This fund would not have been possible without the help and support of its chief patron, Raghuvinder Kataria. Its focus, raising awareness, providing effective solutions for the country's prevalent and impending health issues.
My association with the Heart Care Foundation goes back some 20 years. And I want to applaud the dedication of Dr. K.K. Aggarwal and his team of doctors and professionals in supporting and keeping thousands of patients' heart working and pumping.
The fund is available to patients suffering from non-emergent planned heart conditions, and any person, irrespective of his religion and gender, can apply for the assistance by calling the helpline number 99587 71177.
As on today, पूरे इंडिया में लोगों को पता है.
Applications to the fund are assessed on merit basis by a select committee.
The basic objective of Heart Care Foundation of India is that nobody in India should die of heart disease. For that, the foundation creates an annual Perfect Health Mela every year, where awareness is created at a mass level. Once awareness is created, we provide the workshops and strategies to prevent heart disease. There will be people who will require surgery. We guide them when surgery is required, when surgery is not required. There will be situations where people will not be able to afford. We guide them and assist them how to get a subsidized treatment. And a segment there comes which cannot afford treatment at all, for which our new initiative is Sameer Malik Heart Care Foundation Fund, which provides financial and technical assistance to people who otherwise cannot afford.
Humaira Khatun, who was married less than a year back, had come to know of her complex congenital heart ailment when she went to a doctor as she couldn't conceive. Treatment was expensive. When Humaira and her husband approached the fund and were told she needed surgery, they were hesitant at first.
जब के अग्रवाल ने बोले कि इसका ऑपरेशन होगा, तो फिर हमने सोचा कि नहीं सर, हम ऑपरेशन नहीं कराना चाहते हैं. तो फिर बोले कि सर, अगर तुम ऑपरेशन नहीं कराओगे तो तुम्हारा मतलब बच्चे नहीं होंगे. फिर तुम अपना जब ऑपरेशन करा लोगे तो तुम बढ़िया से अपना खाओ पियोगे, जियोगे सही सलामत से. तो फिर मैंने हाँ कर दी कि ठीक है, मैं ऑपरेशन कराऊंगी.
Dr. K.K. Aggarwal's caring prod got them to agree to the surgery. Humaira can now look forward to a family. Another family that can breathe easy and for whom the winds of tragedy have passed. Rajesh's worst nightmare was that he would leave his children to fend for themselves, just as he was left alone after both his parents died of heart problems. And heart disease did threaten to snatch him away too. As his family's sole breadwinner who scarcely earned enough to make ends meet, Rajesh feared his nightmares had started to turn for real.
मेरे बच्चों को कौन देखता, ये तो दिमाग में बात रहती. बच्चे भूखे मरते, क्या होता क्या नहीं होता, ये तो सब तरीके के दिमाग में ख्याल आते ही थे.
But he had luck on his side. Sameer Malik Heart Care Foundation Fund's speedy adoption and approval gave Rajesh an early bypass surgery and his family a new beginning.
अगर वो नहीं मिलते तो बस कुछ भी नहीं था. हमें वहाँ का पता चलता, ना इनका कुछ होता. डॉक्टर ने दे दिया था इनका टाइम हमें कि ज़्यादा दिन की वो नहीं है इनकी, क्योंकि नस बिल्कुल ख़त्म हो चुकी थी. लास्ट उस पर चल रहे थे. लेकिन हमें वहाँ जाके पता चला तो गए, थोड़ा हमें लगा के उम्मीद अब है.
Several factors bring people to the Sameer Malik Heart Care Foundation Fund. Perhaps at the top of this list, an inability to meet the financial demands of heart disease treatment, intensely specialized surgery, the need for long-term follow-ups and care. For most, hope dims, then revives when they come in touch with organizations such as the Heart Care Foundation of India. The story of Sita Devi reflects just this. 52-year-old Sita Devi's husband and son run a kiosk in a jhuggi cluster in Faridabad. Making just the basic ends meet is an uphill task enough. Tests after months of poor health had revealed multiple blockages in her heart. Doctors at one of the government hospitals gave her medicines, but told her that a bypass was the only real cure. This, of course, meant a lot of money. The three of them had given up on chances of improvement.
अखबार में एक खबर थी कि भाई इस तरह की हार्ट केयर फाउंडेशन कोई संस्था है जो हार्ट से रिलेटेड जो मरीज़ हैं उनके लिए काम करती है और उनकी हेल्प करती है। तो उस पर एक फ़ोन नंबर भी था, तो उस पर संपर्क किया मैंने। तो फिर उन्होंने मुझे अपने ऑफिस पे ग्रेटर कैलाश में बुला लिया।
Sita Devi was adopted by the fund. She underwent a coronary bypass surgery at the National Heart Institute. They can move on now.
मेरे को तसल्ली नहीं हुआ जी मेरा लड़का कहाँ से इतना पैसा ले आएगा। मैं सुनी थी दूसरे रोगियों से ये इतना पैसा इसमें लगता है। तो मैं एक दिन डॉक्टर से पूछ दी, डॉक्टर साहब कितना पैसा लगेगा इसमें। तो वो डॉक्टर साहब जब बोले ये नहीं सीता माता आपका कोई पैसा नहीं लगेगा, आप चिंता मत करिए, आप अच्छी से रहिए। तब मुझे तसल्ली हो गया जी मेरे लड़का पर कोई मतलब इतना बोझ नहीं पड़ेगा।
बिल्कुल उम्मीद टूट चुकी थी कि मेरा ऑपरेशन होएगा, क्योंकि कमाने वाला घर में कोई भी नहीं, मम्मा भी नहीं, पापा भी नहीं, मामा के भी 3 बच्चे, वो कितना करेंगे।
A young teenager, Priya, with dreams of becoming a teacher, needed mitral valve replacement. Treatment costs were far beyond reach for her uncle, who ran an ironing stall. She can now look forward to a successful career. Or Ansh, barely 6 years old, for whom reconstructive heart surgery was the only way forward. He was undergoing treatment at one of the government heart hospitals, which was slow and delayed. The fund stepped in to pull him through too.
मेधांता में हमारे पोते का इलाज हुआ और अच्छे से हुआ। हमें तो ऐसा लगा नहीं कि होटल में आ गए, कोई मतलब देखा भी नहीं था, कभी किस्मत में था ही नहीं कि देख पाएंगे हम उसको। हमारी तो उम्मीद नहीं थी, इतने बड़े अस्पताल में काती नहीं थी हमारी का करवाने।
Diya or Subhash or Rajesh or Sita Devi, the foundation has intervened in over 200 cases to date and aims to assist over 500 cases every year. The fund has tie-ups with several state-of-the-art heart care centers in the city to enable the finest care like Medanta and National Heart Institute, in addition to government-run heart centers. They are also in the process of tying up with many more private establishments.
Some months ago, Dr. Aggarwal asked me whether we would be willing to participate in taking care of poor patients who need heart surgery but cannot afford it otherwise. And I said, I'll be happy to do that through Medanta, and we have been doing that now.
I think it's a great thing that they are doing, and National Heart Institute cherishes our relationship with them, and we take pride in part of being their venture of delivery of healthcare services to the masses.
To fulfill its objectives, the foundation seeks support, donations and contributions from individuals, organizations, establishments and institutions. Our reward, the returning light of hope into these eyes. For several moments, that light had dimmed.
The Sameer Malik Heart Care Foundation Fund is supporting the surgeries in those who cannot afford treatment. I encourage you to support Dr. K.K. Aggarwal of the Heart Care Foundation of India, the Sameer Malik Heart Care Foundation of India, in this effort to help those who are in desperate need of treatment and surgery but cannot afford it.
मैं के अग्रवाल जी का बहुत बड़ा शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ।
मुझे हर वक्त के अग्रवाल साहब के चेहरा याद आता है।
शुक्रगुजार है डॉक्टर साहब का कि इनके एनजीओ ने हमारी इतनी हेल्प करी कि मेरी भांजी आगे पढ़ लिख सकती है।
मैं बहुत खुश हूँ, हमारे बच्चे स्वस्थ हैं। मैं हार्ट केयर फाउंडेशन का शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ।
डॉक्टर साहब तो बहुत महान इंसान है, जो कि धरती पर बहुत कम लोग मिलते हैं।
वो बहुत अच्छे इंसान है। मेरे ऐसे कितने लोगों को उन्होंने हेल्प की है।
We are thankful to Raghu Kataria, a close friend, a philanthropist, without whose help the Sameer Malik Heart Care Foundation Fund charity would not have been possible. We are also grateful and thankful to Dr. Naresh Trehan, Dr. O.P. Yadav, who have come out with their open hands, and they have made their institutions, state-of-the-art institutions, available to do surgery for our patients, to provide surgical assistance to congenital heart disease, valvular heart disease, and other heart interventions.